jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports.
What's good, everyone? WCS on deck. Salute to everyone. We're gonna jump right into it, man. This is just touching on some post-fight reactions to the UFC, and I wanted to talk about the Nate Diaz situation. Tony Ferguson. Nate Diaz was in there heading into his last fight, contractually agreed upon. It had been so much rigmarole with this particular, assignment, because they wanted to sign Nate Diaz up for a nice fight. So Diaz was pretty much saying that the UFC is jerking him around. So the UFC gives him Khamzat Chimaev at 170, right? So Khamzat Chimaev, he has a lot of hype behind him. Real talk, they're touting him to be the next big star at 170, and he has showed promise. There were areas in the fight with him and Gilbert Burns, a multi-time ADCC BJJ world champion, was able to get in close and touch Khamzat, dropped him, and making a much more tougher performance than people thought it would be, even considering the fact that Gilbert Burns has also stepped in there with his former stablemate, Kamaru Usman. He knocked him down too. But they couldn't get it done against Khamzat, in which, some people, they would insinuate that, or they will protest that Gilbert should have won the fight, whatever the case may be. He came in at 17.5 pounds for this particular matchup, which was later adjusted. Okay, Khamzat Chimaev was demoted down to the co-main event to face Kellen Holland. Tony Ferguson was moved up to the main event to face Nate Diaz. Now how I viewed it was this was going to be even a better boxing stand-up striking game than Justin Gaethje and Tony Ferguson. But it didn't. Nate Diaz was in there doing some Nate Diaz type antics. I'm not sure if he was totally interested, or he wanted to make it as boring as possible, or he just wanted Tony to engage a certain way. Who knows what was going on with Nate Diaz? But, it was one point where he was walking away from Tony Ferguson. And, that's not what you want to do, your last fight, and just for it to be a dud. And knowing that people know that you can throw down, people know that Nate Diaz is legit. He's certified. No fans are busts about it. He's a legend of MMA. And yes, legends do exist without belts. Absolutely. In the MMA community, they exist without belts. But he would later go on to sub Tony Ferguson in the fourth frame. This is what we know Nate Diaz to be able to do. Very, very skilled. BJJ black belt trained under Cesar Gracie. We know what his BJJ game is. We know Tony Ferguson, from what we understood, had a BJJ game, but it wouldn't beat this night, because they definitely met, and the winner on the mat was Nate Diaz, subbing him out in the fourth frame. Good shit. So now the rumor mill has it is that Nate Diaz is going to boxing and his future opponent may be potentially Jake Paul. Now, he's 170. He can get up to like 185, 190 easily. From what we're seeing right now, I'm about to move on to my next topic, right? From what we know right now is Anderson Silva is pretty much facing Jake Paul as the next opponent. You know what I'm saying? In this boxing theater that Jake Paul is trying to produce. Now, Anderson Silva, as you already know, he is, no doubt about it, a mixed martial art legend. He used to be in kickboxing, mixed martial arts. He's had some very, very memorable fights. He has some not pedigree. He has history over there in Pride Glory. He's been around. Real talk, he's been around. Considered one of the most unique, fluent, dynamic martial artists there was, with his defense and the way he was able to counter strike opponents. I don't know if you remember that front kick that knocked out Vitor Belfort. It was just so beautiful. You know what I'm saying? A very beautiful freaking kick. I think he did Randy Couture like that too. But anyway, he set to face Jake Paul. You know what I'm saying? Anderson Silva is set to face Jake Paul. Now, Jake Paul is still undefeated as a professional performer. Jake Paul is a professional performer. Now, many people would like for me to call him a professional boxer. But as you all know, Anderson Silva has had very minimal boxing matches in his career. And I just want to call it as I see it. I just want to say, hey, yeah, he is a professional boxer. He's licensed. And he had maybe 2-3 boxing matches. But the man is quite old. You know what I'm saying? He's a bit elder to the younger Jake Paul. And when you talk about 47 years old, it's a lot of things that can happen. He can possibly get, receive a contact in the wrong spot, and it messes him up pretty good. So far, so good. He's been able to continue to operate and stay in the ring, But Jake Paul is his next opponent. And I really don't have anything fancy to dress this up with when it comes to these two. I don't think it's going to be nowhere near like the success he had with Tito Ortiz, who did not know how to box and be patient about boxing. One thing I can say about Jake, he does have some type of behavior and mannerisms as a boxer. He's learning how to throw his punches. He's learning how to be consistent with the jab. Stay on the clock with the stick. Set up your combinations. But it's really not anything special that he's doing that is piquing my interest. Yeah, he's had some knockouts, but I just don't give him the trophy for that. Now, Anderson Silva, I hope to God he isn't knocked out. I really want him to go the distance with Jake Paul because he is a legend in mixed martial arts. I like him, and I don't want him to be humiliated, So let's see how that plays out for Anderson Silva, Jake Paul. The fight is going to be taking place October 29th. Okay, be sure to check that out. October 29th. Jake Paul will be facing Anderson Silva. Let me get to the chat right quick, man. Shout out to Tony Boswell on deck. Much respect at World Combat Sports and the chat. Stop there in the show support and hit the like button. Salute. Work comes early. Good night. Good bless. No doubt, man. Salute for you coming in here. Best wishes tomorrow, man. Have a wonderful week. Big blunts and boxing on deck. What's good? What's going on? My name from now on is Goat Blunts and Boxing. Period. GOAT blunts in boxing. The brother is extremely talented. Young and talented is dangerous. What's going on, family? What's going on, Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more? Saludo, Chi. How you feeling? Good evening to you. Where Mr. Gumbo at? Unless I missed him. How? Salute Mr. Gumbo, my brother. Where's Mr. Gumbo? Am I goddamn looking over some shit I ain't seen? I don't even see him. Salute Mr. Gumbo if you're in the building. If you're in the building, salute to you. I don't see a motherfucking thing. I must be blind, dog. Shout out to Retro Boxing Documentaries. What's good, brother? Shout out to Blood. Oh, there go Mr. Gumbo right there, man. Shout out to Mr. Gumbo, too, in the building, shouty. How you feeling, man? I can't call it. Salute to everybody in the chat. How you feeling? It's a grand one. You know, I got some topics to speak on. You know, I just wanted to touch on Anderson Silva, Jake Paul, of course, and how the situation played out with Nate Diaz having his last fight with Tony Ferguson. And both of these guys have had wars, absolute wars, while campaigning in their allotted divisions. You know, their assigned divisions in the UFC, and that was Nate Diaz's last fight. Now he's about to do boxing. And the word has it that they're going to try to make a big fight between him and Jake Paul. And well, he going to make millions. Serious, real talk. He's going to make millions. As for Tony Ferguson, I believe he'll probably still stay in the UFC and, you know, have a couple more fights. I mean, he had some brutal fights. I just hope he's okay. Now, for Eubanks and Conor Benn, Chris Eubanks, Conor Benn. It's a part of me to have some questions, right? Because, you know, Chris Eubanks, he's under the pedigree and legendary DNA, you know, that lineage of his father. I support, respect, you know what I'm saying? And not all the product comes out like that. You know what I'm saying? Chris Eubanks Jr.'s 32 victories, 2 defeats, and 23 knockouts. Okay. He's been fighting at 160. He's been fighting a little bit above 160, but primarily 160. They want this man to fight at 157 against Conor Benn. Conor Benn is a fighter who is elevating from what we call the welterweight division, a division campaign at 147 pounds. Conor Benn is 21 victories in and 14 knockouts. He's 25 years old, y'all. This is a very young fighter in the game. He's 25 years old. Chris Eubanks, on the other hand, is 32 years old. So we're talking about a 7-year difference, some to that extent. So let's talk about this. Eubanks Sr. has been speaking about pulling his son out of the fight, basically passing up millions of dollars in his payday. Quite healthy purse. You know what I'm saying? And then also you have to take in consideration that Eubanks Jr. have not been in any type of productive or memorable fights, so to speak, that the fans want to talk about. So now that he has Conor Benn stepping up from 47, here's the end state of this fight. This is what has to happen. No way, shape, or form that Chris Eubanks Jr. can take a loss against Conor Benn. It's not an option. It's nowhere even close. It's nowhere even close to this being an option. He has to go in there and beat Conor Benn to move on and potentially get another title shot. So you're probably saying to yourself, it's going to be at a catch weight. It's not that big of a deal. It is. It's very much a deal because if he wants to try to step up at 160 for a future title fight, I think every step he makes right now is very, very important. Now for Conor Ben, if he loses this fight, he just goes back into the rankings at 147, and it won't affect him too much. He'll have another loss. That would be the first one in the Red Kingdom. You know what I'm saying? It would be the first one in the Red Kingdom. He have another loss. You know what I'm saying? He have his very first Kingdom loss in the Red, which a lot of fighters do at their own weight division. But in Conor Ben's defense, they're going to say he moved up and tried to take a risk. And I'm going to say to myself, what risk did he move up and try to take? He just moved up because of the history, the lineage. That's what these guys are about. Eubank versus Ben. This has been brewing for quite some time, years upon years. So this is why they want this to happen. Ben, he's thinking about pulling his son out. And then Eubanks Sr. has been like, why don't you let this marinate some more? Just take the fight a year or two. It'd be much, much higher than this. Just fight a year from now. It'll be much more of a considerable fight to invest more money into. But for Eubanks, he seemed to be intent on moving forward. Is it the money or is it for the legacy? Because of the catch weight, does it mean anything or doesn't it? I don't think it means as much as it should. When you're trying to say, okay, I'll take this fight with the smaller Ben, but also it's forcing Eubanks Jr. to move down to 157, which is going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Even though he rehydrates, it's going to be up higher than 60. It's according to whatever clause they have in there too. They might have you can't rehydrate more than 161. I'm just saying. But as far as legacy goes, it would have been great if the stage was different. It would be great if they was closer in weight classes. It would be great if who they was looked at as boxers, they will hold a much more higher appraisal. I'm just saying, it will feel good if that was the case right now. If they came close to leveling up to what Ben and Eubank did in their heyday, it would be great to watch. But they haven't quite achieved that yet. So I'm not saying they can't, but this fight doesn't do it for me. I know the belts are tied up at 47. Conor Ben just want some action. And I don't entirely disagree with him taking this fight. Not at all. I don't entirely disagree because the belts are tied up at 147. So take a risk and go do something. I'm not sure if I would have said go up, 2 weight classes, damn near and fight at the catch weight. I wouldn't have recommended that. But against who he's trying to contend against, I can see where it's going. I can see, Conor Ben doesn't have much going on. Eubanks doesn't have much going on. Let's go ahead and get this fight out the way and let's make some money doing it. Let's see how it opens. Let's see how it opens up, man. Let's go. But to get that next win, to put that next loss, that Conor Ben, to put that next loss in the red. I don't know, man. A lot of people are looking at you have in an impossible scenario that you cannot win this fight. And that zero is going to become pliable. It's going to be split open and it's going to come vertical. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I can't call this fight. I have seen Chris Eubanks spar. And, I would say that what I see him doing sparring, he would definitely be able to, make pretty competitive work out of Conor Ben. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, I like Conor Ben, man. I like what he brings, flash. But I've seen Eubanks, man. I've seen him spar, and I just can't go against what I've seen just because he's fighting Conor Ben. I just can't change it up and say, nah, Eubanks gonna be in trouble. I don't see it. I don't see Conor Ben defeating Chris Eubanks Jr. And I'm gonna leave it at that. But shout out to both fighters. Continue to do what you do, and that's what's up. I heard they could be a lawsuit of some sort resulting from Chris pulling out. To be honest, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that if money's invested in the promotion and everything like that, if the fighters don't pull out, but if one of the trainers or team members pull them out, I don't know, man. I don't know how that has to work. I don't know the language of the contract. I don't know, man. That's the fine details I'm unprivy to. I want to speak of the welterweight division. We know we have a very, very great card going on this month on the 23rd of September. Okay. And, I call Shakur Stevenson the emperor of boxing. When he's on the rise, man, he is one of those guys who has all the tools to be a grand superstar. No doubt about it. He's going to be headlining Conceição against Shakur Stevenson, or more so Stevenson against Conceição. Okay. A lot of people believe that Robson Conceição gave Oscar Valdez a run for his money, did enough to tally the point and earn a win. It just so happened he had to fight in a cloud that day. Oscar Valdez was popped for Pez, and it wasn't a good look, especially Mauricio Suleiman attempting to justify the levels for what they were, and even had the audacity to say, I will raise them to meet some type of limit to put him in the clear to continue to fight. And that's not the first time. This has become a mischievous, reciprocation that goes on for certain individuals. So, you've seen it happen with Canelo, and then Oscar Valdez. He would go in there and box terribly after popping for Peds. And now that Shakur Stevenson beat him handedly, they turn back around and do some shit the UFC will do. They allow Robson Conceição to come back and fight Shakur Stevenson, who they believe beat Oscar Valdez, who lost to Shakur Stevenson. So kudos to them for getting it right. Kudos, because fans would have been calling for that fight. They did call for that fight. And hey, it's in Newark, New Jersey. He will be headlining. But I want to talk about Jahi Tucker that's on that card too. All right. He's going in there to contend for his 9th victory. If you want to follow him on IG at Who Is Jahi Tucker, go ahead and follow him. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and follow him on his IG. Very entertaining, interesting fighter. The one thing I would say is he's not your typical basic, eye test fighter. He does know the basic fundamentals, plus more. You will see him do some things in there that he himself is able to accomplish just off the strength of how he knows his body and his movement, how to get his timing down and everything else. He does, he moves sometime and execute certain technique that's not teachable in the gym. You just have to know. It's just like dancing. You just have to know. But pay attention to the motor. Pay attention to the motor, because the motor is something that's overlooked, because some fighters fight like they have all cylinders running. Some fighters give you that energy like they have all cylinders running. That's how Jahi, puts himself on display a lot of times, throwing like 10, 15 punch combinations, just really being active in the ring. And I know it's been on record where certain fighters say he doesn't really have that power and this, that, and the other. Listen, Jahi wears a white mouthpiece, right? And I'm about 150, 200 feet away, up in the rafters. Listen, I damn near see the white mouthpiece every time he punches. That means he's gritting down on the mouthpiece, and he's trying to touch you up and make you feel different. So he's not in there just throwing arm punches and making it seem like he's running on diesel fuel. No, he's actually trying to go in there and break his opponent down, whether it's to the body, the head, constant moving, pressure. If you land a shot on Jahi, he intends to want to get it back ASAP. 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 No waiting around. ASAP. I have to get mine back. Okay. That's what I like about this entire his entire marketability, because he does know how to go in there and fight and put on an entertaining fight. Every now and then he does want to give the crowd a little showboat. It's nothing wrong with that. But I know there's been fighters in the past that just come in there and feel like he's a young kid, 19. I don't see nothing special. Yeah, he does his little thing. Look, I heard somebody tell me he does his little thing. But I'm saying he does his little thing, but he keeps stopping guys though. So what is it? He does it, or is this little thing? I don't know. You need to explain to me what that is. But he has the method to the madness, man. He has his mechanics. He understands what his functionality is, man, and what he's supposed to delegate. And he does it in a way that you see his opponent start to deteriorate. Yes, man. Y'all need to start paying attention to how he's going in there performing and breaking his opponents down. And he's tough. He's been hit with punches. Man. He's been fighting grown men. He's been fighting winning records ever since day one. He is a name that you should be looking out for. It's okay to have a stacked fight card, but just because of media, and I'm talking about primarily Jahi Tucker off this card, what does it mean exactly? I'm still supporting the card. I'm just highlighting him because I do support him, and I've covered him, and I do rock with Jahi Tucker, Team Jahi Tucker rather. Great people, his pops, what I'm saying, Showtime, his brother. I mean, all the people that's on this team, man, very, very cool people. But keep your eye out in the welterweight division. He's not in the top 15 yet, but once he gets there to the top 15, it should be very, very entertaining for you to watch him rise. I'm talking about whoever that top 15 opponent is going to be first, and then how he continue to progress, into the top 10. If you watch my live on rankings, once you get up there, you can take the elevator up at a pretty decent rate. It's not going to take forever to move up the rankings if you that guy. You know what I'm saying? Been splitting the rope ever since the debut, and had number winning records on his resume. So expect him to move up that ladder, man. He continue to go in there and fight, continue to put on a show. Check him out. Who is Jahi Tucker on IG? Very great, great boxer. For him to be at a point where he's at right now, the way he boxes, and he's still growing into his own. Look, they better hope something doesn't happen where he does pick up some power. I don't think he's actually grown into his grown man strength yet. I don't think it's there. But what I can say is, if he ever does, it's going to be an issue, man, because he throws some crazy ass punches from all different angles and give you this 10 to 15 punch combo. And, people sit up here and say it ain't much, but it is much. You know what I'm saying? Because when you come up out that freaking 15 punch combination, you're trying to wave your gloves across your face like you just walked into a beehive. So I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you just can't shake it off like this, like it's nothing. But be wary, very weary of that. If you opposition. And as fans, consumers, we looking forward to him stepping up his opposition every time he split the ropes, and that's what he's been doing. But yeah, ninth professional fight coming up, 23rd September, which is going to be a Friday, and it's going to be in Newark once again. And shout out to Keyshawn Davis, man. He's improving so much, man. His mindset is in a whole different place. You know what I'm saying? He's intent on being where he need to be or excelling to where he needs to be. Shushu Carrington, a big deal. Brownsville, Brooklyn. He's on the card again. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, mad fan base over there, man, for Shushu Carrington, man. Mad fan base. Shout out to Shushu. And then you have Floyd Cashflow Diaz, man. I just saw him on the Boxing Voice. But big salute to him and his team. It's going to be on the card, the main event. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy for sure. Andrew Charles on deck. Salute to you. It's going to be crazy for sure. These are some very exciting young fighters. One thing about Top Rank, man, they keep that young, youthful roster on deck. They keep them young fighters coming up over there. Look at Xander Zayas. The man came in there, he fought like 6 times in 2021. Good Lord. You know what I'm saying? Good Lord. But keep your eye on Jahi, man. I'm telling you. Don't say I never told you, but keep your eye on Jahi coming up in the ranks. Keep your eye on Jahi, man. And you'll be okay, I want to touch bases on briefly on I had to take a pause because I said I wasn't going to talk about it. Let me all I want to say is the rumor about Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, man. The rumor of the ghost of Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence is said to be happening in November. I hear all these people talking about, it's going to happen, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. All they have to do is officially announce it. That's it. That's all we have to do. I'm in my layback, digress, play my position type of role today with that topic, Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence. I do believe somehow hype there is a shining star that may be bright enough to beam down on this fight and make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Crazy thing happens in the nighttime, especially when there's a full moon and you see them bright stars out there. It's been people be on rooftops up there doing business, and they have to look up into the sky and say, damn, I just came up with an idea. Thank you. I'm telling you, this is no bullshit, man, but we're still waiting. It's September. It's mid-September. Next month is October. Okay? If you're talking about a fight that's going to be in November, everybody was talking about we need 8 weeks to promo, 8 weeks to promo, 8 weeks to promo, 8 weeks to promo. Well, guess what? It's September right now. No announcement. No announcement. No announcement. I hear Keith Thurman name come up a lot. I just hear Keith Thurman name come up a lot. How much is Keith weighing right around now? 200? Cruiserweight? I mean, how much does he weigh, man? Is he still fighting 147? Anyway, I want nothing but the best for this fight to happen so it can be officially announced and we can get on with it. You know what I'm saying? We can start playing that funkadelic music, some live jazz, and we can really think about finally seeing 2 of the best elite athletes in the welterweight division on the pound for pound list compete against each other. Yes, sir. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see. Period. Now for Saul Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin, they're fighting. They're fighting this week. Yeah, they're fighting this week. I don't have much to say about that, except I'm just curious to know, how long the fight will last. And if it does last the full 12, what will it do to boxing? Like, real talk. Like, if Gennady is still able to go the distance with Canelo, but yet he's speaking about moving back up to 175. I don't know, man. The man is 40 years old, moving up to 168 for the first time in his career. He's been homesteading at 60 forever and a day. Now we get to see, does it really affect a fighter moving up to 68? And one of my questions is Jamar Charlo taking any data from this? Are you taking any data? I know this would rather be the fight you want. I know, bro. I know Mar Charlo would have wanted to be in Gennady's shoes. But check this out. He's about to step up to 168 and fight a fighter that he's only fought at 160 twice. So I'm saying to myself, Mar, move up to 168 and fight somebody of notoriety. If Canelo Alvarez saying he's not going to fight Mexicans, guess what? You have an open invitation to go fight that Mexican yourself. Fight David Benavidez. Go ahead. Give us something to chop it up about, to boast about. That's all we want from boxing. We want something to boast about. And that would be something to boast about. We already seen Canelo in Triple G. And they gave us what we needed to have down in 160. But now he's moving up and taking this step outside his yard and going to the 168 to Canelo's domain. So we'll see how that shit play out. If it goes the distance. That's the poll. Will it go the distance or will it go to UD? Who will win? At this point in time, it will be very difficult to believe that Canelo's performance will emulate that of Dimitri Bivol. I don't think so. There's no way fucking possible at all. That's what's going down. It's no way. It's no how. No way. I know some people out here believing that Canelo is going to stop Gennady. We'll see. We'll see if he gets stopped. I'm not going to say just because he's old, he's going to go in there and get pummeled. But he has a lot of tread on him. And let's see, man. Canelo didn't look all that stellar against Bivol, but he didn't get knocked down either. You know what I'm saying? I think it may be some knockdowns in this fight coming up. That's all I'm saying. I think it may be some knockdowns in this fight. I'm looking forward to Baumgartner, Mayer when they fight. I am. I'm looking forward to Shields, Marshall, absolutely. As much as the Haney situation is coming up with Davis, I don't see it happening anytime soon. I wish Devin Haney didn't have that Australia, the second half of the Aussie double, so he can come down here to Atlanta and fight Tank. I swear to God, that fight is a sellout Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Look, we can't seem to win a football game, but at least we can see a boxing match in that bitch. Bring two black fighters down here to Mercedes-Benz Stadium like Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney, it'll sell out. But there's no way they're getting out that contract. It would be great if he wasn't in the contract, but God damn it, let's be able to have somebody else come to Mercedes-Benz Stadium and we can see someone win. We can see something with quality, because them Falcons, God damn it, they always show up and let us down, God damn it, and I'm upset and pissed. They need to move this football team out the city, because obviously strip clubs is goddamn their place of home, allegedly, before going to practice. Something wrong. Damn. How do we love giving? Look, we give away leagues like we giving away dollars. Damn, we was having the game. Shit, man. Gave away the Super Bowl, the closest goddamn Super Bowl we ever came. Gave it away. Anyway. Juice Lee in the building. What's good? All I see on YouTube is people desperate to line up the pieces in a way that they can say it's Crawford's fault. The fight won't happen. I'm surprised they haven't chewed off all their nails yet, saying that same shit. You know what I'm saying? They always act like they want to make the same culprit. They want to designate the same culprit. Excuse me, who's the culprit today? You know who it is. It's Terrence. Oh, I thought it would be somebody different since there's no evidence as to why you're calling Terrence the culprit. Just because, just for fun, just for GP. Don't take it personal. It's Terrence. But what about Arrow? You know, I mean, don't you think him being attached to PBC, them not having the money? No, not at all. They got the money. It's just Terrence. I mean, be more clear. Like what do you mean by Terrence though? Like, what is he holding up per se? Just showing up late. You know what I'm saying? Showing up late. Not being on time. Not being professional. I mean, as far as negotiation goes, though, what is he's doing? You know, the way he talked to people. You know, the way he dresses. He don't come off as one of those guys that's treating this sport professionally. He need to do more. He need to promote himself, though. Yeah. That's it. Terrence. So you're saying the Arrow does the same thing or no? Like he's more professional. He dresses up. His attire is different. I just need a bit more, elucidate for me. Just give me a little bit. No, I've said enough. Terrence. Yeah, he's holding up the fight. Yeah. Terrence. What do you think? When do you think they're going to fight? October, September, November. Remember. I like that. So they're going to fight in Remember? Yeah, the month of Remember. They're going to fight in the month of Remember? Yeah. Remember the last date they said? And the day after that? Yeah. It's bound to hit one of them. The month of Remember. Remember, that is the month right there. The Remember month. Remember November, December, October, and November, October, December. One of those dates are gonna happen now, for real. One of those months. Shit, we tired of trying to pinpoint it and put our finger on it. We don't know when that's gonna go down. Men from Golovkin's region stay strong into their later years. I think he's fired up for the fight. Charles, hey, thank you, man, for always dropping some very acute knowledge in the chat at times. Real talk. I know how people associate certain fighters to their footprint and fighters that come out of that region. It may be somewhat true if you're fighting your own countrymen. You know what I'm saying? But when they sometimes travel outside, yeah, you might have some that have success, but some of them still get their ass beat just the same. Seriously. I know in certain other athletics, that holds true what you just said, Charles. Real talk. That holds true. That holds true a lot. But in boxing, I don't see it a lot, bro. You don't have a lot of good, triple G's. You know what I'm saying? We don't have a lot of Alexander Usyks. And we can agree that Alexander Usyk is better than Lomachenko, in my opinion. I think so. I think he is. But don't ask me. You know what I'm saying? Lomachenko is going to be set to step back in here real quick. What was we haven't heard anything else from Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis if that fight is going to happen in December or not. But Gervonta would definitely be down here in the A in December. And, we're going to take it from there. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna take it from there with Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I hope it's somebody to the likes of Ryan Garcia, because everybody else is pretty much locked down. You know what I'm saying? Cambosa's locked, Devin and Cambosa's locked down, strike them. Isak Cruz, he's open. Okay, Isak Cruz is open. Gets a little shaky from there. You know, because Lomachenko is already locked into a fight. And I don't even think Lomachenko want to come down here to the A anyway. Seriously. Well, I've already heard some things, you know, he didn't want to go, you know, fight because he felt it was a bit too many blacks in the area and he wouldn't be able to win. But come on now. You should just be worried about fighting the guy himself. But let's see what happens, man, with Gervonta. It has to be either Ryan Garcia or Isak Cruz. I'm thinking more so Isak Cruz. It seems like it's going to be the much more easier fight to make. Let's see how that works out, man. See if we can light a little spark to that. But I wasn't going to stay in too long, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Just wanted to touch bases on a few fights, you know. And shout out to the loved ones. Shout out to those who love me. One love to the chat. You know what I'm saying? Keep supporting the chat. You know what I'm saying? They are the ones who makes the topics of discussion interesting. You know what I'm saying? And those who rock with the channel, man, always. Turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports. And you know, be sure to check the notifications for the next time. I'm out.